Ashton, I mean, first of all, congratulations, of course, right off the bat there. I wanted to ask you kind of, first of all, maybe what has given you perhaps a leg up switching positions from forward to defense, and then maybe what's been the biggest challenge during this international process to make Team Canada?
I think the switch to defense just helped me overall everything. I think it just suited my style of play a lot better. And I think in the end of it, I was kind of made for defense. But I think the most challenging, excuse me, the most challenging thing at the start, like pre-Worlds camp, just getting used to that pace and playing against the top players in the world. So just, getting used to that style of play. The girls are a lot stronger. So just getting used to that and using my size is definitely an advantage for me. So just using that to my game. So.
And just talk about that moment when you, well, personally found out, and then two, to watch those young hockey players skate up and to say your names. We kind of talked about the moment of, the young and the current athletes and what that must have felt like for you.
Yeah, well, we actually found out before Christmas, so over Zoom. So that was a really special moment. Immediately broke out in tears, and my mom and dad were in there, so told them right away, and they broke out in tears. So we were all crying and hugging and having happy tears. And then seeing those young girls, the next generation, announce her name was really cool. I'm really glad Hockey Canada came up with that. It was such a cool moment for them. And I'm sure it's something that those little girls will cherish forever. And the mom actually reached out to me on Instagram. So I was able to find the girl that announced me. So going to do something special for here in the next couple of days. So that was really cool.
Sorry, guys, I just let Alicia go because she was on here earlier and Ashton was on here earlier, so I just let her start. But before they jump in, Ashton, I, watched Jocelyn Larocque go through this process in 2010, and it obviously didn't go the way that it's going for you. Were there, I know that you know her, you guys seem to have a pretty good relationship, which is super awesome because she's a Bulldog too. Did she give you any advice through the process, or as you were heading out? Some of the rumors that I was hearing is you weren't super confident towards the end. Was there anything did she play any role were you able to talk to her at all about her experiences through the centralization process, or any role that she played with you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Joss and Fasty being the two more experienced D were definitely really helpful to all us younger players, and they just made us feel confident every day. And Joss was just like, take it day by day and be confident in yourself and know that you did everything you could to make this team. So I think just holding on to that and knowing that I did do everything I could, and I believe that I did. So just holding on to that and definitely made me feel more at ease and more confident in myself.
Did you have an idea before the Zoom that you thought you were going to make it, or was it like total shock?
No, it was definitely before I was like, okay, I feel really confident. And then the other 30 seconds later be like, oh my God, I don't think I'm going to make this team. But it was definitely a shock finding out for sure.
Okay, you guys can go. Sorry, I was just monopolizing your time.
Ashton, if you could kind of talk about, for people who don't know, just the process, the camp and the selection, how kind of rigorous that really is, to kind of put into perspective for people how tough it is to make an Olympic hockey team.
Yeah, for sure. So centralization, we kind of been together for 3-4 months now, and definitely very stressful times, especially towards the end. November was probably one of the hardest months, and then leading into December as well was very stressful. You just never know really where you sit, and you're kind of getting tossed up and down the line, or you're sitting out a game. So you definitely start playing games in your mind and starting to read into things. But that's where the older players definitely help, and just telling you to take it day by day, and to not read into those things, and to control the things you can't control. So I think that really helped me, just taking it day by day. And yeah, I mean, we played a lot of games during the centralization against U17 boys, junior A teams. So those games were definitely challenging, and definitely pushed my game to the next level, I believe.
Ashton, do like the coaches explain to you, like when you had mentioned you're going up and down the lineup in practices, you know, in and out of the lineup, they're obviously trying to rotate all the defensemen and stuff. Like, do the coaches explain to you maybe why you are or aren't in the lineup, or are you left to maybe like overanalyze, and how tough is it not to like overanalyze those decisions of like, oh, this is who I'm paired with in practice today, and that I'm in the lineup and out of the lineup? How to kind of take me through that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think no matter what, you're going to analyze the situation, even how hard you try not to. I think you're going to end up analyzing it a little bit. But our head coach was awesome. He always came up to me the night before, the day before, like during practice or something after practice, letting me know if I wasn't or was going to play in that game the next day. So I really appreciated that from him. And the communication has been really great with that.
Is it kind of like it all paid off, choosing to centralize this year and take a step away from the Bulldogs and then now to officially get rostered for Team Canada?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was all worth it in the end, no matter how hard the process may have been. It definitely is worth it, just knowing you are an Olympian. And it even sounds weird saying that still, it hasn't really sunk in yet, but I think in the end, it was all worth it, and can't believe I'm going to the Olympics and representing Canada. So it's pretty special. And then get to come back to Bulldogs for next year, which is pretty cool as well, getting a 5th year there. So best case scenario, I would say.
Did you ever have any doubt? Like, did any doubt ever, you mentioned like a few seconds before you're confident, and then the Zoom that, 30 seconds, oh my God, maybe I'm not going to make it. Like, was there any point in this process where you did have doubts whether you're going to make it, and maybe started, thinking, Jocelyn came back and won a national championship after she got cut. Maybe I could do that.
That definitely had crossed my mind. When I remember talking to you and they're in Minneapolis, when I didn't really know Joss's story with that, when she got cut and then came back and won national championship. So that was pretty cool. And then I was like, oh my God, like that could be potentially if I weren't to make this team. But I think I definitely had doubts to begin with off the start. And then a turning point for me was during that U17 Capital Challenge. I felt I got to play all 5 games there. Sorry. I got to play all 5 games. It's really dry here in Calgary. I got to play all 5 games there. And definitely felt my game kind of transition, and I got a lot more confident after that. And then the US games there after that. And just got to feel a lot more confident day in and day out. Even at practice, I was really feeling myself, and got a lot more confident after that.
Ashton, travel humidifiers are a lifesaver in the Rockies, especially in the dry hotel rooms.
My little guy doesn't do anything.
What's that?
I just have a little one, but it doesn't seem to be.
Does it do it? No.
Well.
Yeah.
No.
What's kind of like the process right now? So are you living out of a hotel room in Calgary, or what's the deal?
Yeah. So I got back on the 31st, and then we've been isolating this whole time, but we're able to go to the rink still and practice there and then go right back to our houses. But yesterday we all moved into a hotel. So we're starting kind of a bubble format right now. I guess they'll get to go to the rink but just come back to the hotel, and then we'll be here till we take off for Beijing. So just trying to isolate and be as safe as possible before we get on that flight to Beijing.
Where were you living during centralization?
I was in a townhouse with a couple other teammates.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So does that mean no more cool Instagrams from Emma Maltese of you guys like pond hockey skating in the Rockies?
No, today though, we're actually, I don't know if I'm supposed to be sharing this, but we're going dog sledding. So that we're pretty pumped about that. They're taking us to the mountains to go dog sledding. So they were trying to find something safe that we could do outside. So I'm pretty pumped about that.
Ashton, with the change of position for you at UMD, just like getting to this point now, does it kind of feel crazy that after you did all that work that you're to this point? Yeah,
for sure. I think watching the Olympics in 2018, watching Rooney there, that's when I kind of knew that I could get here one day, and I wanted to do whatever it would take to get to the Olympics in 2022. And definitely at that moment, didn't think I was going to be a defenseman, but I mean, it worked out really well. And I'm just so thankful for the Bulldog program and the family we have there that have helped me get to where I am today. And especially Lou, I called her. She was my first call after I found out the news. We shared a pretty special moment. We were both crying and she was just so proud of me. And I definitely owe a lot of my success to her as she helped me make that transition to D and went out of her way to help me accomplish my dreams. So
Ashton, can you kind of take us through some of the stuff that Lou did to, like specifically, what are some of the stuff that she was able to do to help you make that transition? If I remember right, I think the first time you had played D a little bit as a sophomore in a few games in a pinch, I think, right? And then there was a Canadian camp actually over the summer where they started listing you as a D, I think, if I remember right.
Yeah, there was a couple of games there. I remember sophomore year, we had a D out. So I went back on D there. And then after that sophomore year, just Coach and Lou both helped me like make that transition to D. And we had lots of conversations about whether that's a good fit for me. So just them bringing that up in itself was a big part because I probably wouldn't have changed if they wouldn't have brought that up to me. But yeah, my junior, senior year, Lou had would go on the ice extra time with me, helping me work on any skills that I wanted to work on, lots of D stuff, and then just watching a lot of film as well. She would always come up with video. We would go over my shifts or other shifts and just looking over what I can do and not to do, and just, yeah, watching all the defensemen, even watching like NHL players and what they're doing as a defenseman and stuff. So she definitely went out of her way to help me make that transition.
Ashton, going back to your decision to centralize and kind of go all in on this goal of yours, can you kind of take us back to that moment in time where you were kind of making that tough decision, or am I going to stick around here at UMD or am I going to go chase this? What was that like for you, I guess, looking back, knowing that it worked out now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was it was definitely hard senior year, not getting that full year with COVID and stuff. But then once I found out that we were going to be eligible for a fifth year, I think that really helped with my decision for centralization, knowing that after I go through this whole process of centralization that I can come back and be a Bulldog for one more full year. So I think that really helped with making my decision.
Ashton, I think Coach brought this up yesterday. Are you the first Olympian from Deloraine?
Yep.
When were you able to start telling people in your hometown?
I didn't tell many. I told my family and then my grandparents and a couple of close friends and loved ones, but I knew if I told a lot of people that it would spread the town pretty quickly. So I had to keep it quiet from them, which is hard because everyone would be asking my mom at work, has she made it? Has she found out yet? So we had to keep it quiet. I think it was harder on my parents to keep it quiet than it was for me, but yeah, I've gotten a lot of messages from them and they're pretty pumped. They're back home.
I was going to say, how the heck did you keep all your family to keep it quiet?
Yeah, I think being on a farm really helped, so they couldn't just come knocking on my door. So
that's usually where the leaks come from on this stuff. It's not the athlete, it's the family themselves.
Yeah.
That are too excited. What have you been getting messages and such from people back home in your town? This has to be a huge deal for your town to have an Olympian.
Yeah, for sure. I've gotten a lot of messages. It's been overwhelming, but it's been pretty cool to see. Our like newspaper, we have like 3 pages in the newspaper, but I'm sure I just sent a big article to our person that writes the newspaper. So I'm sure I'll be on the Times Stars, what we call it, on the front page. So I think that's coming out tomorrow. So that'll be pretty cool to see that.
Have you had a chance yet to, Ashton, to kind of take your mind from, no, you've had about a month to know that you made the team or so. Have you started to think now, are you guys in that transition where you're thinking, okay, now we start thinking of the Olympics. Now we start thinking about medals because you come in on one of the most favored teams. Any thoughts on that going forward? What do you think about that? How do you feel when you start talking about that kind of a thing?
Yeah, for sure. I think we've been talking a lot about now that we've transitioned into the bubble here and to the hotel, that this is our pre-comp. We're going to look at it as a pre-comp heading into the Olympics, and we're going to use this time to these next couple weeks just to amp up our game and compete at practice at like a game speed, seeing as we can't play any more games, just to be safe and stuff. So I think our mindset has changed quite a bit as now we're looking towards that gold medal and getting into that gold medal game. So just starting to practice at a higher pace and getting into that game pace for sure.
Anything else for Ashton?
I was
One
gonna
more quick.
say, I was gonna say, I just checked. She's not on the Deloraine Wikipedia page yet of notable people from Deloraine. Seems like an oversight, but
Ashton, I'm just wondering how much different has that international speed at the Olympic level, you're training for the Olympics here, been, from playing college hockey? How much different is that just, hockey wise for you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely an amp up in pace. Just having to make decisions a lot quicker, and someone's going to be on you right away as soon as you touch the puck in the D zone. So just getting used to that pace. And I think it helps practices for sure. I feel like I've grown the most and developed the most in practices just because I get to play against the top players in the world, the top line, the Pooh, Jenner, Clarkey. I get to play against them and defend against them. So I think that's really helped in my game and helped me get to that pace heading into when I get to play all the other international teams. So.
One question again, Ashton, and I know you touched on it, but I just kind of want to sum it up. Do you think this happens if you go to any other college? Do you think you're there?
No, I truly believe that UMD was the right fit for me and has played a huge part in helping me get to where I am today. And it goes to show too that there's so many other Olympians that have come out of this program, or even just players that get to play for their world teams as well. And just seeing Kaka there get announced and Sodler, and hopefully Soud's here soon. I know she's waiting to find out. So it's pretty cool to see all these players coming out of the Duluth program, making their Olympic teams, their world's teams. So definitely owe a lot of it to the Duluth program. And yeah, I can't wait to be a Bulldog again next year.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Ashton, talked to Gabby Hughes yesterday. She says that she's rooting for you in the Olympics. Your reaction over her country, I should say.
Yeah, I think a few of them are actually. Rogie said, she was like, where can I find a Hockey Canada jersey? So I'll have to send out a link to her, but it's pretty special to have all those teammates support you like that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I speak for all of us, Ashton. We're really, really proud of you. Thank you for representing Duluth and UMD, and thanks for being on so that we can actually talk to you. And just like we normally do all the time when you're getting attention, but this is a little bit bigger deal. So we appreciate it. We wish you so much luck. We know you've worked really, really hard for it, and we'll look forward to covering you and seeing what you do. We really want you to do well. Go get that gold, kiddo.
Thanks so much, guys, for coming on here. It's good to see you.
thanks, Ashton.
Thank you, Ashton.
All right.